I've got some new fan art here. I'm really glad I'm getting all this artwork from people. It means a lot that people want to take the time out of their day to make artwork for me. I feel like I can't thank you guys enough. So the best I can do is show my appreciation with a thank you and by showing the artwork in a video. So thank you guys, really. I love all of it. Also, I started a new channel called Telltale Science. I talk about science on there. I covered computer science in my most recent release, which was on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. But some of the subjects I intend to address are the Big Bang, free will, post-traumatic stress disorder, and a number of others. So I hope you guys subscribe to that one too. I made that channel so I can focus more heavily on cults and religion on this channel. Check out the channel in the description, in the card in the corner, or by hitting the annotation on the end screen of this video. Anyways, moving on. The last video I released was a debunk from March's JW Broadcasting episode. I was looking through the rest of the episode and found some interesting material. I wanted to address a few crazier parts of it, so I'm gonna do a little skipping around. And for those of you who don't know what JW Broadcasting is, it's basically this, TV show? That Jehovah's Witnesses release on their website and app once a month. It's just an hour-long brainwashing session. So let's get into it.
$50?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Grandma, he's just a boy. Why are you saying sir?
Be quiet. I want you to know your place.
I told her after we got back on the track, I'll never hold my head down, My grandmother, she knew I had a love for the Bible because I would always read the Bible as a kid.
Praise ye the name of the Lord.
But I couldn't understand it.
Okay, so this is a story of a woman who grew up in a time when segregation was a thing in the US. Blacks and whites had to stay separate. They'd have a men's bathroom, a women's bathroom, and a colored bathroom. Same with water fountains, white fountain and colored fountain. It was some pretty messed up shit. That persisted all the way through the 1960s. In 1964, the Civil Rights Act was signed and things started to move in a better direction, but racist sacks of shit still looked for ways to force segregation. There were Jim Crow laws back then, which were laws used to force segregation and inequality. Jim Crow laws started getting passed in 1896, and they started getting overturned around 1964 with the Civil Rights Act, but it took a really long time to overturn all of them. And even now, we can still see the aftermath of those laws. There was severe tribalism in the US during that whole time, and there's still strong tribalism, but things have dramatically improved on that front in the past 50 years. They're still improving. It's just gonna take time and work. I don't like getting political on this channel, but this doesn't really feel like a politics issue to me. It feels like a tribalism issue. So I can justify talking about it here on my cult channel instead of on my science channel. Anyways, there is one good thing I can say about the Watchtower Society, but it comes with some caveats. So I'm gonna say one good thing and I'll explain the caveats in a few minutes. The Watchtower Society believes in equality among races, in my experience. Now let's continue.
I met a group. And this group was like what I really wanted to be in. It was about politics. They said, we fight injustice. And when they said that word injustice, it was like, yeah, this is what I want to be in, right? Be part of something that can change and make people united, right? That was my goal. We started protesting about police brutality. And I think that's what a lot of people was focusing on. I liked some of the things that they was doing, but they trained us every day in military training, learn how to use weapons and stuff like that. And so I'm thinking this is not what I want to be in. This is not what I enjoy. So I started going back to God again, to reading the Bible, because it's I'm not changing anything.
Oh, that's the group you really wanted to be in. Like the Jehovah's Witnesses? You wanted to be in that one too, right? If you guys are unaware, she's talking about being in the Black Panthers. And even more interesting than that, everybody in these videos is Jehovah's Witness. They only ever use Jehovah's Witnesses as actors, which is at least partly why it seems like the acting is so bad. It isn't bad acting. They're putting on the cult personality that every member is supposed to have, the mask. It's a haunting realization. Also, there are some things that Jehovah's Witnesses absolutely won't do, even for demonstration purposes. This is bordering that stuff. I imagine we'll probably never see a Jehovah's Witness video where they're all standing around the flag saying the Pledge of Allegiance, for example. At best, they'll mouth the words while playing a song over it. so I was kind of surprised to see them throwing around the Black Panther signs. And what's this? She says she wasn't changing anything as a Black Panther? They changed plenty, although they were violent activists, and I don't believe in violent activism, ever. This is a really important point. Sometimes I get people on my Discord talking about taking violent action against Jehovah's Witnesses, especially in the comments of my video on how to troll Jehovah's Witnesses. I have to stress that I do not stand for violence under any circumstances. If you get violent with them, it just feeds their persecution complex. It turns them into martyrs. The Watchtower Society becomes stronger every time violence is used on them. It hits the mainstream media and they're made out to be an innocent victim of an attack. I can completely understand the desire to get revenge on the Watchtower Society. Believe me, I lost my mother when I was 18 as a direct result of what the Watchtower Society continues to do, and she'll probably die without ever having a relationship with me again. Nobody understands the hatred more than I do, but that's not the way to fight them. We have to fight their ideas. That's the only dangerous thing about them, and that's what we have to destroy, their ideas. Moving on.
The first time I went to a convention of Jehovah's Witnesses, it was like 10,000 people. When I go in there and I see all these different faces and different colors, it's like Jehovah's showing me like, hey Rafika, remember you asked me about all different people getting together and being one? See, I'm not partial. They do get along. We are unified. And it just made me feel so good inside. Yes, this is the organization that I want to be in.
Now to explain my one compliment to the Watchtower Society earlier. I said that in my experience, the Watchtower Society believes in equality among all races. That's true, they do, because they wanted to create a tribalist mindset against a different demographic. Instead of white versus black, they want it to be Jehovah's Witnesses versus everybody else. That's the dynamic they've set up. All Jehovah's Witnesses are equal to each other, and everybody else is inferior. And apostates, like myself, aren't just inferior. We're dirt, filth, mentally diseased. They depict anybody who disagrees with the Watchtower Society as sick, depraved individuals. Even moderate disagreement, even if it's something as simple as the belief that there are a couple of translation errors in their version of the Bible, even something as basic as disagreeing with their shunning policy, will get you labeled an apostate, kicked the f*** out, and abandoned like you're trash. They make apostates out to be violent extremists who will stop at nothing to destroy the lives of innocent Jehovah's Witnesses. That is why I'm so against violence, because that would be giving them what they want. But the best part about this whole thing is the etymology of the word apostate. Let's take a look. Middle English, from ecclesiastical Latin, apostata, from Greek apostates, meaning runaway slave. That's what they call me every time they say I'm an apostate, a runaway slave. So I wear it as a badge of honor. Every time they call me an apostate, they're calling themselves slaves. But the only thing preventing these abused slaves from leaving is the fear of losing family in the best case, and the fear of being one of 7 billion people who die in Armageddon in the worst case. This cult is poison. I've been putting a lot of focus on Jehovah's Witnesses lately because I feel like they're a prime example of what a cult is. They put out material that perfectly illustrates what propaganda is. It gives me an opportunity to point it out in a very clear, distinct way. But this stuff doesn't just apply to Jehovah's Witnesses. It applies to Mormons too, and anybody affected by the Westboro Baptist Church, or FLDS, or Pentecostals, any number of other destructive religions. 44% of the US believes that Noah's Ark was a real historical event. There are 8 million Jehovah's Witnesses in the world, and 14 million Mormons. I won't stop until those numbers are 0. I won't stop until there isn't a single child being brainwashed from birth. I won't stop until the Watchtower Society goes bankrupt. And I hope you guys will be here with me to see it through to the bitter end. Anyways, that's all I've got for you guys. Follow me on Discord, Patreon, and Facebook. And check out my new channel. Links are in the description, and you can click the annotation on the video. Thanks for watching, guys.